Hello guys, welcome back to the Shintaro Higashi Show with Peter Yu. Today's guest is Eugene Seki. He's my cousin.
What's going on, guys? Nice to be here.
Yeah, he's my cousin, and we're messing around a little bit with the cameras and stuff. Let me know if you guys like it in the comments and such. Greg's behind the scenes doing some producing stuff. Peter is just on vacation. He's in Korea for 3 weeks. That's why we're kind of, we still need to film this stuff. So, right, we're here. The reason why
Peter, we're imagining you're right there.
Yeah, Peter's here with us in spirit. Eating kimchi and stuff, right? All right, so the reason why I have Eugene on today is because Eugene's a physical therapist. Not only is he a PT, but he's also a judo black belt, BJJ blue belt, right? You know so much. You've done competitive sports your whole life. Today, I really want to talk about prehab. And what does that word mean to you?
So prehab, in kind of a medical sense, like in the rehab world, prehab would usually be the weeks leading up to a surgery. If you already have like a scheduled surgery coming up, let's say you tear your ACL or something, you have surgery coming up in a month, and then you have to kind of restore your range of motion, maximize your strength before going in so that your outcomes are better. But in more of a kind of a general kind of like layman's way of describing prehab is just preparing your body for the demands that you have to put it in. So that might just be regular weightlifting. It might be your addressing your mobility or flexibility concerns, just mitigating your risk for injury depending on the type of sport or martial art you're doing.
Yeah, so we don't want to talk about the medical side. I'm preparing for a shoulder surgery. We're not talking about that because it's relevant for grapplers who are grappling all the time. We want to prevent injuries.
Yeah.
So what are some like core ideas behind that? Not like specific exercises for specific people, because some people might have knee issues, some people might have mobility issues. Yeah. You can't diagnose those guys and tell them to do certain things without seeing them, right? So what are some core ideas behind, I guess, prehab in a way where you're preventing injuries for grappling?
So this is always a difficult question to answer because prehab for one person might be completely different to the next person. If you come from, let's say, like a yoga background, and then you start breaking into martial arts, you might have to develop kind of like a baseline of strength training and stability, because your background before that was all about flexibility and getting your body into positions. But when you're doing grappling, it's a lot more intense. You need to like put on some armor into your body. But
Grappling's more intense than yoga?
Not for you. I think we all saw that in the yoga for judo.
I'm very immobile. My joints are very tight.
Yeah.
I'm flexible in some areas.
So someone like you've done tons of weightlifting your entire life. You might benefit from doing some more flexibility, mobility work.
Yeah.
So then you're throwing someone, or you get your arm cranked in a certain way that you can get yourself to those positions. So it's not putting stress on your joints and your ligaments when something gets cranked on.
Nice. All right, so what do you say to the guy that's like, I've never done judo before, maybe I'll go to the gym and lift and get strong before I come? Or do you think they could just run right into judo training?
You can run right into judo training, but I think pretty much anybody who's doing any kind of grappling will benefit from doing some kind of work outside of the dojo, outside of just technique training, randori, live rounds, because you should have a foundation of strength and being able to put your body through different positions and be able to handle it.
So what's like a prescriptive thing that you may say to somebody that's like, all right, how can I prevent injury while doing judo? Let's just say average Joe kind of does like a 9 to 5, sits at the computer most of the day, or has a regular day job. They're not training all day and night. What would you say to that guy coming in? Like, how can he prevent injury?
So there's a lot of different categories we can go. I would say step one is just having a baseline of strength and doing normal movements that don't require a ton of technique, just to build leg strength, core strength, upper body strength, kind of the normal stuff that you would do in a gym, or like your first program with like a regular personal trainer, doing your squats, deadlifts, bench press, like big compound movements. Then from then on is doing work that's a little bit more specific to the movements in judo or BJJ, like plyometric work, being able to jump and be explosive on two legs, on one leg, any kind of mobility work that where you might have your weaknesses, whether it's like rotational mobility or your shoulder mobility. Pretty much. I mean, it's hard to say because it's so much that you can be doing. I would say step one is just getting a baseline of strength.
Right.
You should be doing resistance training in the gym if you're doing grappling.
Okay. All right, so let's just say, for instance, you were to design me a program, like it's a little bit more specific to me, right? I'm already a super athlete, I'm amazing at judo, right? But if I want to do some more stuff to prevent injury and stuff, and if you were to design my workout routine, my mobility routine, like how would you break that up in sort of like a, right? Based on how how much I train in, on a day-to-day basis, like what would you say to me?
So you have a pretty complex history of injuries yourself, so that would be kind of the meat of it. I already know that you have a lot of knowledge and a deep background in weightlifting.
Yeah, pretty jacked,
Yeah, super jacked. So, but anytime you're in the gym and you're doing when you're already doing your normal workouts, setting aside 20 minutes just to work on your shoulders. So if you're like, for you specifically, you're pretty limited in your shoulder range of motion, and your shoulder's going to get pushed to the extreme, especially in BJJ. If you're getting like shoulder locked, like full external rotation or full internal rotation. So you might be really strong in a strict bench press or a strict shoulder press, right? Or dips. But in these end ranges, you might have this steep drop off of your strength once you're in this end range. So being able to strengthen through that lengthened position and shortened position for your shoulders, just to kind of like bulletproof your joints.
Bulletproof.
Yeah.
But there's always a amount of force that can just wreck it, right? No matter how strong you're at the end range.
You could do everything perfectly right, and then it can just take somebody chopping your knee the wrong way, or just a reflex reaction. You put your hand out, or like someone takes you down, you land on your head in a weird way. You can't avoid everything.
Okay, so let's just say the average practitioner judo guy, right?
Yeah.
He's like a green belt or something, white to like brown belt range, like never really lifted, kind of strong. Like, what do you think are some basic exercise that should be doing in the gym?
Like specific exercises, or how to program like different parts of their training?
Let's do both. I think that'll be interesting for the listeners.
So I would say for programming overall, just to hit all the different parts of your training, if you already have your judo and your martial art already set, maybe you're training three or four times a week. At least 2 days of just strength training, resistance training. You should have some amount of cardio too, because a lot of times when injuries occur, it's when you're in a state of being fatigued. Your reflexes are going to be a little bit slower. They have some studies about this too, like in soccer players, the majority of injuries happen in the second half or in the last quarter. That's when everybody's like a little bit more fatigued. So that's good to know too. If it's like the end of practice, you're feeling like really tired, super fatigued. Right. Those could be the times then you're a little bit higher risk for injury.
Anecdotally, like the ACL tears that I've seen in the dojo, majority of them happen after, in the randori phase, like second half of that. So so just building up some cardio and your strength and endurance. So you're not constantly in this fatigue state when you're in training, and that's pretty easy to do. Just hopping on a stationary bike, going out for a ride, going out for a run. Because those lower level, like lower zones of your heart rate cardio is a little bit different than what you would be doing in judo. So it's good to have both. Okay. So we have low intensity cardio, strength training, and then working on your own weaknesses. So that can be
specific like prehab exercises, whether it's for your knees, for your shoulders, for your lower back, your neck. That's going to be different for everyone. And if you need to work on your mobility and flexibility, that would be the last. Okay,
category. So what about high intensity interval training? Do you suggest that? You do a lot of sprints, right?
Yeah.
Did you just run at the Nationals?
Yeah, I just came back from Masters Nationals.
Nice.
Yeah.
Fast.
Okay.
You're fast.
No. It seems fast, but out there in the Nationals, with all like the fastest guys from 30 plus, it's just a different league.
I mean, that's all they do. They've been sprinting their whole lives, right?
Yeah. But I like being out there. I like competing against the best.
Nice. Yeah.
And they're not trying to rip my head off. You know, they have their own lane. I have my own lane.
Yeah, that's it. Never really cross, right?
Yeah. So a lot of it is just competing against yourself.
Nice.
But yeah, high intensity interval training is definitely important because judo can be really intense, really explosive.
Yeah.
So I think sprint training is really good for that, and Olympic weightlifting.
How much can you really like train to be a certain way? Like for instance, like I'm naturally fast switch 2A, fast explode. I've always been since I was a kid, right?
Yeah.
But if I want to run a marathon, like it's just doesn't suit my style, right? My body type and things like that. And then you see these guys coming in who are just like long distance, skinny, slow twitch guys. Can they develop a athleticism in like an explosive way? Like how much could you really go the other direction? You know what I mean?
You definitely can, but there's a window of your physiology.
Yeah.
So the makeup of your muscle fibers and the way that you process and metabolize oxygen and getting oxygen to your muscles and your different energy systems that you use, you're gonna have a window of where you kind of fit, whether it's in a sprint like 100, 200 meters or more of like a distance runner. But because judo already is pretty explosive, even if your physiology kind of sets you in this window of more of like a distance and endurance athlete, you still benefit from doing some explosive training because you need that. It's kind of just a part of the sport to be able to go in to a throw fast and take someone down.
You know what I heard once? Maybe I think you said it or something. The 2 reasons why people get injured is asymmetry and then going too hard too soon, right? Not having the proper progressive overload. Mm-hmm. What do you think about that comment? Did you say that or no?
I don't remember that, but
maybe I made it up.
it sounds right. I mean, it's on the.
I mean, I tell people that all the time. Is that wrong?
No, it's not. It's not wrong. There's definitely two important things. Yeah. Like if you have a major asymmetry. Whether it's directional preference, which way you turn, your handedness, if you're a lot stronger on one side than the other side. Sometimes that happens just from your history of injury too. Maybe you had a knee injury way in the past, so you develop these kind of compensation patterns, and you might not even notice it because this is like your new normal to kind of favor one side.
Does it? I mean, but judo is like asymmetrical, right? It's like one hand's doing one thing, one hand's doing that. I'll never forget this Canadian judoka. He was right-handed, and he would always be pulling people down. Mm-hmm. His right lat was humongous. Yeah. His left, he had no lat on his left side.
Yeah.
It was so funny how it was like ridiculous. He would like turn and flex his back. It was almost like a show. Like, look at my lat. And it would be like one humongous right lat, and then the left one's like a normal.
Yeah. Really I feel that too, because just playing as a lefty, the majority of the people I play against are right side, and I'm posting with my left hand all the time here, kind of doing like a single arm plank on my left side. I'm pulling over here. I'm locked into this position for so much of my rounds.
Yeah.
And in a performance sense, it's kind of good to have one side that you're really, really strong. I think you make this example sometimes too, is like baseball players or golfers. You don't need to really train the other direction. When you're out there on the field, you're going to be hitting one direction.
Yeah, they're definitely getting less injured than some of these other combat sports.
We should all just play golf instead.
That's a good one. Maybe even tennis. I don't know. But tennis, you kind of symmetrically turn one side to the other side. You just serve with one hand more. So the asymmetry thing, maybe it's not true for judo? I guess you know what it
No,
is. In barbell.
There's definitely some truth to it.
Okay.
Let's say you're always rotating one direction, or you're always favoring one side over time, then you're gonna get this input to your body that's like a little bit off. So then you could develop arthritis in a certain joint a little bit earlier, or be at more risk for certain types of injuries. In performance, if you're just thinking about performance, then it might make sense to like really focus on your main techniques, your main throws, the one direction that you move in. For me, I like to train both sides, and a lot of the clients and patients that I see, I feel like they will benefit from doing training in multiple planes, multiple directions, and building up some of the weaknesses and addressing imbalances.
So what are the most common imbalances you see in judo? Or even jiu-jitsu, or wrestling, or grappling, period?
One of the main ones is your trunk rotation. You're always turning to one side. And that's the same with any kind of racket sports, tennis players, baseball players, even golfers too. It's hard, explosive effort in one direction. So then you can start kind of rotating your spine in a certain way. Your pelvis can get a little bit rotated in a
even right now, then I'm like kind of sitting like this a little bit. And then my pelvis is like off-centered. Does that cause back problems?
It definitely can. Let's say your pelvis is a little rotated, or your spine is turned certain direction. That's all normal. Like nobody's perfectly symmetrical. But if that imbalance is pretty extreme, and then let's say you go to the gym and you're loading up a ton of weight on a squat rack, you're doing super heavy deadlifts, and you're like a little bit off, that can put increased stress to like certain areas of your spine or your vertebrae, into your
probably
hips.
Why I couldn't deadlift 600 pounds.
You probably would have deadlifted 700.
Damn.
Yeah.
Brutal. All right, so what do you think is some good advice for some of these people who experience that kind of imbalance? All right, no, actually, sorry. Let's go back, like common asymmetries. You said trunk rotation. Is there any other ones that are major?
Trunk rotation and just lower leg strength too. Like your balance and stability on one side. Everything happens almost on one leg.
It's true.
Right? Ouchigari, Osotogari.
But if you're taking it, you're balancing on the other leg. Right?
That too. But every time you're gonna have one stance leg and one kind of swinging leg for like most movements. And
it's true.
Almost everyone in judo is gonna heavily favor one side. So that's where a lot of the single leg balance and strengthening exercises come in. Because most people go to the gym and they'll do squats, deadlifts. They'll do maybe
bicep curls.
Bicep curls too. But if we're talking about the legs, like leg extensions, leg press. But just adding in balance exercises, so you're on one leg doing both sides, and single leg strengthening stuff like single leg deadlifts with a kettlebell or barbell, Bulgarian split squats, things like that. So you're just using one leg, and this will bring to surface some of the imbalances too. You'll realize that one leg might be a lot more stable than the other, or one leg might be a lot stronger than the other.
Nice. All right. Do you think ice baths work?
They definitely help for like soreness, inflammation. I think the research is kind of mixed, but if you like to suffer, then go for it.
Mixed research, huh? What about a nice rub and tug? Does that work?
Yeah, of course.
Man, thank you so much for telling us a little bit about prehab and preventing injuries.
Absolutely.
We'll have to talk about rehab and most common injuries next. So, stay tuned, guys. Thank you very much.
If we do another one, then maybe we can go into a little bit more detail. If you want to prevent like something specific, like a knee rehab or shoulder prehab, lower back, things like that are really common.
I think knee and shoulder is probably the most common in judo, right?
Yeah, knee is definitely a big one.
Yeah, huge. So, Thank you very much, guys. Let me know if you guys like this format with the 3 cameras with Greg producing and then this thing. Greg's gonna be on too also. So